Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the BitSocket podcast. We're just going to go episode 4 now. We're going to pretend the first episode, which we called Podcast 0, was just episode 1 now. So,
I thought we were going to stick to the...
I can't be bothered.
Okay, fine. This is episode 4 then.
Yeah, that's good. So I am Scott White, your main presenter.
And I'm Joe Menick, co-presenter B.
Co-presenter B. Still looking for co-presenter A. Hopefully it's going to be someone good. It's going to have to be, because they're going to have to carry Joe like I've carried him.
Yeah.
For how many years?
Well,
too many.
It's going on.
1 year's more than enough, so...
Are we into our second decade now? I think
we are actually, yes. We're into a second decade of knowing of each other. We've got an action-packed, I'm going to say action-packed,
okay.
Action-packed podcast. We're going to try and concentrate on getting some more features into the show, to be perfectly honest. It's nice the things we were doing before, and we're keeping pretty much everything, but we're adding some more as well. That's what it's all about. It's all about adding that extra value.
Soon, the BitSocket podcast is going to be like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, because it's going to be so top-heavy.
So top-heavy.
Like we're just building on weak foundations, but lots and lots of...
The weakest of foundations.
No. But let's start off in the grand style of podcasts, as usual. What have you been playing this week,
What
Scott?
have I been playing this week? I've been playing Fire Emblem Awakening.
Alright, is that game that you
2DS.
bought a year ago and didn't touch?
Do you know, I didn't even buy it. It was part of Nintendo's, like, buy these games, get a game free.
I remember this because you pleaded with folk to get a code so you could download it. You're like, oh, I really want to download it. I really want to download it. And then you didn't even play it.
I just put a wee thing in Twitter saying, does anyone have a code, an extra code I can register? Someone gave it to me.
Squeezing our followers dry.
I traded, but no, it was a trade. I had a code, someone else had a code. It wasn't like bribery or like... I didn't kidnap someone.
So how is Fire Emblem?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's probably one of my favourite games on the 2DS.
The 2DS.
2DS. Well, I'm playing it on a 2DS. That's the way it works. All right, I think it's probably one of the best games for the 3DS.
I definitely need to play it. Yeah.
2DS. There's just so much going on with it. The characters are really well drawn, and I mean that in that they've got nice personalities, but they're also drawn nicely as well. The combat's brilliant. It's so.
How many
fun.
guys have died?
Well, it turns out I originally thought I was playing it on that mode. It turns out when I originally started, I must have gone for nobody dies mode.
Oh, you're on easy mode.
So pretty much, I think I'd probably rather play it like that because I'd hate to miss out on characters. I'm the kind of person who will play a game through on normal the first time I play it, then go for hard. And I think that version. I think if I played that version, I wouldn't have a lot of characters left. It's always the same ones that die though. It's always the game punishes you for leaving like. Oh, you've left that one unit alone, idiot. And they'll just get cut down. So, what have you been playing then?
Well, I finished off Tales of Xillia this week.
That's the game. I think you've mentioned that in every podcast.
Well, that's because I picked it back up again recently, and I thought, right, I need to finish this bloody game because I like it. But, you know, RPGs, they take a little bit of concentration. You need to really get yourself into a place to play them. So I finally finished Tales of Xillia this week. It's not as good as I thought it was. I mean, I do love I like the Tales games, and I love Tales of Xillia, but the end just sort of went nowhere. I didn't really know who the last boss... Well, I knew who the last boss was, but didn't know why I was fighting them, because they seemed to be quite good pals a few years before that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones... A lot of JRPGs have this problem where the story starts off really interesting, and then it gets really... The characters start to draw you in as well, and then it just goes insane. And at that point, you just lose all... It's the Fahrenheit problem, you know?
Was it annoying because the final boss wasn't God?
Yeah, well, that is actually one of the few JRPGs I've played where you don't kill God at the end, but...
Gutting.
I know. I just love games where you can kill God.
I just want to kill him.
Yeah.
I just want to kill his face. See, when I do it, I'm going to stab him in the belly. Do you know what I'm going to say? 9/11.
Got that out.
See, as I said that, I thought I'm going to cut that. I'm just not going to. I'm going to keep that in. Enjoy that. It's his fault. I'm an ultimate truther.
Oh, God. Where'd I go from there?
Why did your podcast get taken off?
I know.
Well, I think it was Joe talking about Tales of Xillia again.
A fucking co-presenter, bro.
Repetitive content.
Alright, so I need to make most. I need to get through the rest of my JRPG list.
So what are you on to next?
Lightning Returns. Sorry,
Lightning
Fantasy
Returns.
13.
Oh, that'll be.
It's like
sorry. I didn't mean to fake yawn there when you talked about that again. No, you know, it does look quite good, but I've decided. I mentioned last time I've got my list that I've been working through.
The list has changed.
The list has changed because I got kind of bored playing Ico.
I can't believe.
It's a great game. It's just I think a lot of people would agree. It's not a game you can get powerfully enthusiastic over.
I'm
right.
No, you're not.
Calm down.
You can't, I'm powerfully enthusiastic right now. Can you know see?
I've decided to go into Skyward Sword.
Good.
So
Good man.
There we go. So what are you saying about that then? So I'm not playing Ico, I'm playing Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword's better than Ico, so it's fine.
I bet there's a lot of folk out there who were a bit annoyed at me saying about my enthusiasm levels for Ico, but they were like, oh, I understand, Scott's a dick, that's fair enough. And Joe's like, oh no, Skyward Sword is much better than Ico.
Yes.
And folk have just like snapped their own necks. So you know how you can't actually strangle yourself?
Yeah.
Some people just achieve that. Some people just achieve that. So probably next time I'll be telling you about how I've given up on Skyward Sword and going back to Azura's Wrath. And Joe will just break his dick in half.
So...
I hate using the word dick as well.
Oh god. So what are we doing first then?
What we're doing first, well, up first in time-honoured, well, this is episode 4, so I can say time-honoured tradition, we're going to have 5 minutes in heaven, and I'm leaving it as a wee mystery until we go and play it. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Right, yeah. Another week, another 5 minutes in heaven. So, what is it this week, Joe?
Wait a minute, are we doing this weekly now?
Feels like that, doesn't it? Probably not, but that's the way it's worked out this week.
Today, Scott is making me play Zombie U, which I've actually never played.
And honestly, I've not played it either. I bought it when I got my Wii U, and because it was a tenner, and I was like, oh fuck, £10 for a Wii U game, brilliant. And it's sat on the shelf. But every so often I think, today's the day, and it just I still don't play it. Which is my fault.
Well, let's fix that right now.
Let's fix that right now. So let's get the timer up here. This is also the first 5 minutes in heaven that's not been a PS4 game. How does that make you feel?
I know, it feels a wee bit dirty, to be honest. Like I'm cheating on your PS4.
So,
your PS4, because it's not mine.
Look at it crying. Right, so 1, 2, 3, start.
Okay, oh right, I've got a map on my screen and... Right, so find the previous survivor.
Yeah, so just to give you a wee bit of information, I've loaded up the survivor version of the game. So this is essentially, when you die, that's it. What? It doesn't carry over. The way the normal game works is you get given a new character every time. In the normal version of the game, when you die, you can then go find that person again to get your items back. In this version, it's essentially, when you die, you've got to start the whole game again. So it's quite interesting. So
it's dead dark, but I've noticed that what you can do is you can hold this button to scan with the gamepad. It pulls up a torch.
You've got a torch already.
Oh, do you?
See if you put that button away. See next to your left thumb. Push that.
Here's me thinking you have to use the gamepad, but now you can just push a button. Right, crossover. It's actually quite...
Sounds like a right
might be a good time to try out your radar.
Now might be a good time to fucking have a wank. Sounds like a character from Game of Thrones.
Right, okay, I've touched the screen for my radar and there's a guy somewhere through this door. I think I've got to try and save him.
No, you've got to go get his bag.
Alright. Pick up the quick. Ah, you fucker. I've never actually...
Kill him! Oh!
I just took a guy's
that's
head.
He's not... kill him!
Right, I'm trying to kill him.
Press and hold the button. There we go. Do it. Kill him!
Oh, I just took a guy's head off with a cricket bat.
Do you think you'd have sex with a stump?
Oh, that ruins it. Right.
You play action completed.
Oh, that's really annoying. Typical bloody Ubisoft.
Taking you out of the game.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Chivo.
Yeah. So I've nicked the guy's bag and got a Uplay achievement.
It's so good. Oh. Don't neglect your sleep.
Alright, okay, so I need to go have a sleep. Okay.
Alright, so I need to go sleep now.
How'd I?
So remember, keep an eye on the map, because you go the wrong way, you die.
Yeah, look, there's actually not many zombies in this. I've only seen one and that was like a scripted thing. I thought
this is the beginning of the game.
Alright, should I start?
You only just got a weapon. When the game loads up, you start kind of having to run away from lots of zombies. It's good fun. All over London. CCTV cameras all over London. The more eyes you have, the better. There's more cameras at that location, so I'll walk you through hacking them.
This guy's getting a bug.
CCTV cameras are secure, hardwired to police HQ.
This guy's
I wish he'd shut up, to be honest. Like, just let me play the game.
Mate, shut up.
Breaking the immersion. Like, I realise there's a guy, we're meant to...
Think about it in real life terms, though. Imagine you were in this situation, right? And you've got to be aware of everything. aware of everything.
Alright.
And this guy just
Wait.
won't shut up.
Right, we're going outside now.
Oh.
Right. What was it?
So we use your radar, remember?
Alright, okay. Oh, there's something back that way.
You're going to go find out?
Yeah, of course.
You've got a minute,
Oh,
just over a minute and a half
It's a
left.
rat!
Fuck's sake.
Why am I scared? There's nothing to be.
This is like when we tried to play, what was it? Oh, there's a zombie. Right,
Hey, let's go and get him.
Take
Let's
him
go and
out.
get this zombie.
Right, so Joe's got a minute and a half left. Oh, but is that?
You've got incoming. Check your radar.
Oh, Joey's coming. But used the gun and that was. You had how many? 8 bullets.
8 bullets.
And you used, was that 6 of them?
I only shot him twice.
Oh,
there's something.
get your cricket bat out.
Wait a minute.
There's a zombie almost, I imagine.
Oh, right there.
Oh.
It looks like that's just something we know.
Is that
It looks like
PG O'Reilly?
Oh no! Right, I've been
he's
killed.
There we go. So
Oh,
this in a first for the 5 minutes in heaven. We still have 45
right.
seconds left.
I'll try and get back to where I was.
I'll
That's it finished.
hit B to skip, but I'll be interested to see if you can manage it because you've got to start from the beginning every time.
Oh, so you do.
So go to cat. I might let you load from the bit where I was on the bed, but to be honest, yeah, survival mode. Is that it?
Oh, you're dead.
See, so the overall playtime was 9 minutes, but really you lasted about 4 minutes. So the first proper enemy that appeared that wasn't scripted killed you.
Oh god.
So what do you think? You know, I'm just gonna let
Okay.
the timer go because you know what? 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
These people demand their blood. Right? 3, 2, 1. There we go. So, what did you think of that?
You know what? That was actually interesting. I don't think I would ever buy that game, but
Not even for £10 and never play it.
that's the problem. Is like I don't think I would never find the sort of enthusiasm to play it. But it isn't. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like that's a ringing endorsement into. We should put that in the box.
We should put that on
Bit
the-
socket Joe
for all the Wii U
It's
games.
not as bad as I
It's not
thought it
as
was
bad
going to be. No, it was quite good. I like how it does actually use the screen. Like that's how many Wii U games actually use the screen for anything, other than a map. Whereas this you're constantly looking between the TV screen.
Yeah.
And, because you've got to interact with your.
It's funny though how you just say, oh, not a lot of games use it for anything other than the map. It is still a map.
No,
though.
I know, but
the map has more purpose.
yeah,
It's
so
not
no,
just
you've got to
a
look at
static
it through
thing.
your radar, and you've got to
Yeah.
go through your backpack and all that. And that's pretty cool.
It's a cool idea because
Yeah.
like a lot of Nintendo, even some Nintendo games recently haven't really used the pad a lot.
Yeah.
Like was it the new Donkey Kong game? It's just there's nothing going on.
Yeah,
I mean the off-screen thing's cool. That's the one thing you can't do with this game.
Yeah.
It's one of the games you cannot play just using the pad because of how it works.
yeah.
But
But that's fine.
it's quite good.
The only thing is, there was
For the
just
2 minutes I've played it.
yeah. The only problem is that it's the Ubisoft thing. Like every 5 seconds, there's another.
You play.
Yeah, there's another
achievement
thing on the
unlocked.
screen, just breaking the game for you. I hate all that.
So
That was 5 minutes in heaven, and on the list of games, it's not. Oh, it's not as bad.
So let's quickly recap. We've had
I preferred that to Infamous.
We've had
I preferred that to
Infamous, Dynasty Warriors, Metal Gear,
and this.
and this.
And I think the king of it's still Dynasty Warriors.
King is still Dynasty Warriors.
Infamous is my least favourite of the lot, and this is obviously not as good as Metal Gear.
So there we go. So far that's quite
Yeah.
good. So soon we'll actually have a top 5. One more, and we've got a top 5, the longest top 5 list going. So that was good, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
Let's
okay,
congratulate ourselves.
Yeah,
Let's-
that's good.
I'm going to pat. Let's be patting the back for you, Joe.
I wasn't in my back.
So that was 5 minutes in heaven. Did you like that?
I like how you held the note at the end there for a
I
wee
know.
bit.
Well, I like to mix things up. Well, it's the 4th time we've done this intro bit, so I need to keep my interest levels going. So what are we going on to now?
We're on to Shotgun Top 5.
You nearly said Top Shotgun.
Top Gun Shot 5.
Top Gun Shot 5. So I'm going to go first this time because
Okay.
you've abused me last week.
Right, go on.
So I'm going to
Test
go
my
for
listing
Test your
prowess.
listing, right? Top 5. Right, I'm trying to think of the wording for this because in my head it's really smooth, but when it comes out my mouth it's going to sound like garbled shite. Top 5 characters in fighting games that no one likes to go.
Alright, oh.
Aha!
Oh.
You see?
that no one likes to go.
So I've already got a couple actually.
Well,
there's always going to be some characters that some guys like. No, I love Lizard Man.
I was just going to say
Lizard Man. He's so good because he's shite. You've unlocked Lizard Man. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Lizard Man's definitely there.
He is there.
Nobody likes going Lizard Man. Oh god, that's a really, really hard one.
Oh, I've done it.
I know.
I've done it. He's sweating.
You've broken me.
It's on the ropes.
Oh god,
this is Rocky 2.
Dan from Street Fighter.
Which one's? Oh, Dan's the one with the pink.
Yeah, Dan's on. Yeah. So Dan from Street Fighter. Nobody goes him.
I'm going to start pulling up images of folk playing these characters as well.
Well, no, right, okay, some folk obviously do. There's always
it's folk. The characters of folk aren't that bothered about.
Aye. Oh god, this is really difficult actually. There's one in Soul Calibur, but I can't remember her name. Do you remember when Soul Calibur 3 came out, right?
Yes.
Vividly. And they had like 3 new characters in it. There was Zasalamel. What?
That's a shit name. It was, it was Zasalamel.
Anyway.
Robert.
But, right, and then there was a girl with a big hoop. The kind of bladed hoop, right?
Yeah, she was rubbish.
Yeah, she was rubbish.
Do you want me to find out her name for you?
Yeah, go and find out her name because I remember when we saw it, was like, oh, that's quite a good looking weapon, but it was rubbish, so nobody went on.
Aye.
And obviously Soul Calibur took a big downturn after that.
Was it Talim that was introduced in Soul Calibur 2 and she was cracking?
Yeah, she's cracking, yeah.
But I know you're right, that was...
Aye. Okay, so that's Dan, Lizard Man. That girl with the big hoop. Dan,
Lizard Man. I hope her name rhymes with this as well, so we can keep us going. Let's have a look here. I've got a wee picture of her. Her name was...
Okay.
Her name's Tira. They also introduced, there was Zasalamel and Setsuka as well. Setsuka was...
She had the umbrella.
The umbrella, and she was quite good.
Yeah, she was good.
Anyway, right, sorry.
So, yeah, Dan, Lizard Man, and... Tira.
Captain Memory.
Tira,
yeah.
Tira. Oh god. What else is there? The problem is I do vary it when I play fighting games. So Jigglypuff. Nobody goes Jigglypuff
that's a
is
good one.
the worst Smash Bros character.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah, Jigglypuff. And
the worst, but really the worst Smash. But I'm trying.
Yeah, well, it's definitely the least used. Do you ever go Jigglypuff? Nobody goes Jigglypuff.
That's a good point. No one likes Jigglypuff.
Yeah. Okay, and the fifth one
because it looks just like Kirby. That's the problem. It looks like Kirby, but with only like one move. Is Jigglypuff even in the most recent one?
Yeah. Jigglypuff's in it. Well, I don't know. Oh god, I need to check this
as far as I'm concerned, it's like a blind spot because I don't even see the character as being playable.
Yeah. Okay, and last one, the most obvious one for us anyway.
Right.
He's in the front of the box of every one of this series.
He is the main character of the series of games.
And yeah, Akira from Virtua Fighter is the worst character to go. Like, whenever we play Virtua Fighter with pals, like, nobody goes Akira.
No one goes him.
Aye.
The problem with him is he is a good character. He's just really difficult to use really well.
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter is a game with so much depth to it.
Yeah. You definitely can't get away with button bashing with him.
No.
But that's what I mean. That's whenever you play it online and somebody goes Akira, you know they're going to win because
they're obviously good with him.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Dan, Lizard Man, Tira. Oh, what was the one before that? Jigglypuff and Akira.
Is that that's your listing in that order as well?
Yeah. Well,
pretty much in the order you thought.
They're all equal. Yeah.
They're all equal. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was good though.
Okay.
That was good. That'll only be about 20 minutes worth of ums and ahs getting ready to do that. Anyway.
Okay, my shotgun top 5 for you.
Right.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like weird, but top 5.
Top 5 panties.
What is it?
Top 5 panties in games.
Top 5 bad old men.
Top 5 bad old men.
You know what I mean? It's like, I was going to say top 5 old men, but I specifically baddies. Old guys.
Right. Okay.
So they can be the coolest ones or whatever, but they have to be baddies.
Villainous.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, off the bat, Revolver Ocelot.
Oh, good.
That's easy.
Yeah.
You could probably just do this whole fucking list, use the Metal Gear Solid series. I'm going to not do that, but I could. This is when I always have to kind of turn my body and look at my shelf of games as well, because my memory isn't as good as Joe's. Right, top 5 old men.
Bad old men.
Bad old men.
Bad old men.
I'm thinking of a few game series and I'm like, I don't know what age that guy is. Like, would you count his name, the baddie from Zone Enders, Owman?
He's
he looks old, he's bald.
Aye.
He's bald, that makes him old, doesn't it?
And his skin is like completely white.
Yeah. I want to know what age he is.
I don't know.
No.
I'm going to say no to him. He doesn't count.
Okay, right. So, we've got Revolver Ocelot.
Yep.
Dracula from Castlevania.
Good.
'Cause he's fucking ancient.
Yeah.
He always looks quite good.
Yeah,
Like,
he does.
Dracula keeps himself looking well.
Aye.
But aye.
Well, no, it depends what
Dracula.
Castlevania game you're playing, because Castlevania 64, it's the wee boy, and in Castlevania
Aye, but
Dawn of
still
Sorrow,
the-
it's you.
Aye, but still the fucking... Dracula's still ancient.
Yeah, no,
though.
okay,
It's
yeah,
not
yes,
like,
okay, I suppose.
here's
technically he
Dracula's a
is.
4-year-old. Well, that's part of the... I don't know if this is spoiler territory, part of the new Castlevania games. In fact, it
I
can't be
know.
a spoiler, because the newest fucking game's all about the fact you are Dracula. So, oh, he's spoiled, even though the second game, that's the whole premise in the back of the box. I had another one there. Now, I don't know if he's evil.
Right.
But Shun-Di...
Shun-Di?
And, no fucking Shun-Di. Lao Chan.
Lao Chan from Virtua Fighter.
Because he looks evil.
He's the meant to be the baddie. He's
Right,
the baddie.
so
You can
there we
just,
go.
you know, you can tell from a fighting game character's face whether they're meant to be a goodie or a baddie. He's obviously a baddie.
And Lao Chan fucking kicks ass.
He is.
It's like going Mitsurugi in Soul Calibur. He's a cheat.
Yeah, 'cause he's so good. Aye.
It's all about he's got the punches, the kicks. He's got everything. Punches, the kicks, everything. So just to recap, so far we've got Revolver Ocelot, Dracula, the most ancient of evils, and we've got Shun-Di, a guy with tuberculosis.
Lao Chan, it's not Shun-Di, it's Lao Chan.
Fucking Lao Chan, who's got tuberculosis. Jesus fuck. Right. I'm hitting a bit of a wall now. How old's Bowser? He's that bloke. Right, I need to...
Oh, God.
Old and evil.
Alright, there's an obvious one you're missing
It's
then.
got to be a man as well.
Yeah.
Right, what's the obvious one I'm missing?
Right, fucking, you talk about it all the time, your favourite bit in one of your favourite games from one of the best series ever. I don't want to give you...
Right, he took me
Right.
Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Is he old? No.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always like thinking, right, there's a line. Is he pension age old? Is he just like, you know, when you're 10 and you look at a 25-year-old and you're like, you're old. Aye, Ganondorf specifically
Wind Waker
from Wind
Ganondorf,
Waker,
yeah.
because he wears, I suppose he looks like he's filled out a wee bit. Like, he's got a big kimono, but you think, is that because you can't fit into your trousers anymore? Your Ocarina of Time trousers.
I'll always say he looks fat. I think he looks fucking muscly. He looks like he's built in
He
that
never,
game.
he never takes kimono
He
off.
doesn't take the kimono off.
So
aye.
it could be. It's like a bit like it's the name of that guy's cat that's both dead and alive. Ganondorf is both muscly and fat. Muscly and obese. He's not old, but the senator from Metal Gear Rising. Would you count him?
I wouldn't. He's not allowed in. No.
Why? What's the difference?
He's not actually an old guy.
But we don't know how old Ganondorf could be. 24. He's just been passed into like dark realm. Like he's probably not aged a day since the first time he fucking stole the Triforce. Just keep patting him away into like the Phantom Zone. Fucking he hangs out there with like General Zod for Superman. General Zod for Superman. There's like gods in Azura's Wrath are thousands of years old, but I feel again I'm kind of cheating them. I've gone for Dracula. That's once you go Dracula, you don't go back.
Bacula.
Once you go Dracula, you don't go backula. That's definitely the tagline for a shit 1970s porn film. 100%. In fact, fucking Robotnik. There we go.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll let that.
Right, so the list, right. So this is to the best evil old man.
Yeah.
Even then, Revolver Ocelot's not really evil, is he? Because he was always on your side. Just
don't think about it.
It was that hand that he had that took him over, but the hand didn't really take him over. It was all nanomachines, but it wasn't really nanomachines. It was just hypnosis and drugs. At the end, the whole thing is he was just drunk and hypnotised. Paul McKenna, right? Paul McKenna's right,
ultimate
right,
baddie.
let's start the list. Right. Okay, so number 5, we're going to stick in Robotnik.
Right.
He was fucking there because I looked at a Sonic game on my list. So Robotnik, followed by Ganondorf. Followed by Ganondorf.
Right.
Then we've got, I'm going to say his name again wrong, aren't I? Lao Chan.
Lao Chan.
Yes! First time I've said it right. Lao Chan, number 3. Number 2, we're going to have Dracula.
Right.
Fucking it's Dracula.
Yeah.
Number 1, Revolver Ocelot. Although, we've already established he wasn't really evil.
Yeah.
Is he even a man? Is he even a man?
Does he even have a revolver?
Is he even old? Who knows? Who knows? Nanomachines. There we go, that's
Nanomachine, son.
Nanomachines. Fucking That was a good list, wasn't it? That wasn't pure torture for everyone concerned.
I'm so much better than you at that.
Half the time you only gave me one answer that time though. For the last list, I think you provided 4 out of the 5. Come on, Scott. This person. Right, there we go. That's it. One for the ages. I hope you were all writing that down because I'm not repeating it. This podcast deletes itself once you've listened to it.
If you've watched any Bit Soccer videos or listened to our podcast, you'll know that me and Scott talk about the classics that we like a lot, like the Yakuza games or Metal Gear Solid or Zeldas. But we're going to talk about some essential games over the next few podcasts. But we're going to stay away from the cliches. So first up, we've got Scott here. And
That's me. Hello.
And what game are you putting onto our essential list?
Can I just say on behalf of all the listeners, did you rehearse that in your head? Because that was really good.
No, I just can't. Yeah.
That just came right out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Except the bit where you talked about Zeldas.
Zeldas.
Oh, son.
The Legends of Zeldas.
Son, geezers, the Zelda's over. Your mother's tired.
Don't bother him, he's playing his Zeldas.
Playing his Marios and his Zeldas. Right, so game number 1 that we're going to introduce into the Essential List.
Essential.
Do you like that? I'm going to call it the Essential List. The Essential List.
Yeah.
So these are games to play in the bath. Essentially, we're going to introduce Blur. Blur.
Good.
Classic Britpop band.
Yeah. So Blur, why are you putting that on the Essential List?
Blur is one of those games that when it came out when I was still a student working in the video game shop, and it was one of those games that it just bombed. It bombed so hard because there was a few things, and one reason, I don't know if there was one reason that was actually very well expanded upon. There was a game that came out the week before called Split Second Velocity from, I think it was Disney that published that, and then Blur followed the kind of week, the week after it. And then that kind of had a massive knock-on effect for no one's going to buy a second driving game the week after. So what Activision did is the copies of Blur were way more expensive. Like when we got it in, we were told, right, you're selling this for £54.
Yeah.
Which was way higher than any other fucking game going.
I know.
And the reason for that was Activision knew that Split Second was coming out, and so they put the unit price for when you were actually buying a copy of Blur as a shop, because they have to pay the unit price and then shops sell it for its recommended retail price. They sold it. Do you want to say that again?
I think there's a few folk that are still awake. See if you say recommended retail price again, I think you might just get the ones that are still awake.
Recommended retail price. Jesus fuck. So they just sold it higher. So when we got, I think we got 2 copies in, and they just sat there for ages. The real reason I'm adding it in is because until Sega brought out the kind of Sonic racing games, even then the second one was the
good one.
The first one was good, but the second one's the best one. It was the best way to play a Mario Kart game, or a Mario Kart style game on the Xbox and the PS3. It was just nuts. It was properly bizarre. It was all sold in this idea that, imagine a driving game where you get real cars, you've got real proper cars you could in theory buy if you had fucking tons of money. But just firing missiles at each other and firing lightning, and it was just such a fun game. Especially, it was one of the few games that encouraged split screen multiplayer. I mean, 4-player on that was just nuts, and you had the AI going as well. It was
so what was good about it? Do you think it was good to add the weapons into it then? Do you think that was
definitely?
Would you prefer that if it was just a normal racing game?
No, I think if they made good racing games. There's no two ways about it. Bizarre Creations made good racing games. But I think it was the addition of the weapons that just gave it that kind of nice wee novelty fun. I mean, you could turn them. I think you'd actually turn them off anyway. But it just gave it that kind of bit of fun that I think was missing from a lot of kind of other racing games. I think like games like Forza, Gran Turismo, they're good games. They have their place. But I always find they're a bit po-faced. They're very much, right, we're a simulation, this is how we play it. This isn't a simulation, it is more akin to games like maybe Ridge Racer, Mario Kart, games that aren't really based on real life handling. I mean, if you fucking play a Ridge Racer game, there's nothing of reality there, but they're great fun, and that's what this game was. It was just a great fun game. One of the main reasons I love it, I mean, there's a lot. The weapons are good fun, the power-ups, should say, are great fun, the driving's great, loads of cars to choose from, split screen multiplayer. But what I love the most about it is that anyone can win. When you pick it up and play it, the amount of times that I've sat and me and Alison, the first time we played it, she beat me. When we first played it with our friend Chris, he beat both of us. And that's it. It's not like a game like Ridge Racer, which brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I love Ridge Racer games, but there is an element of skill involved, and I think it's harder for someone like when I play Joe, for example, Joe Horses, maybe because he's much better at Ridge Race than I am, and it's good fun to play, but you get less enthusiastic about thinking of playing it because you think, well, I'm just going to fucking lose. It's going to be good fun playing it, I'm going to lose. Whereas a game like Blur, there's still a level of skill involved, but it's a lot more accessible. There's that kind of chance that, anyone could win it. And a wee bit like games like Mario Kart, like, get the right power up at the right time, you can win.
The blue shell.
The blue shell. But it's also one of those games where you can fight back from being in 8th to 1st.
Yeah.
You can do that in a lap and a half. Whereas other games, if you're further back, you're like, I might as well just restart because I'm not winning this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of Blur, is that open accessibility combined with great fun handling and just brilliant split-screen multiplayer, which is always something I'm going to push for, because getting your pals on the sofa, all playing together, is always going to trump any form of headset gaming and online stuff.
Aye, definitely.
No, love it. And it's, I don't know, it's just a heartbreaking thing that
Aye.
we won't get a sequel. It's just that's a line's kind of drawn under that.
But half the team are working, half the team that were responsible for that, they were also responsible for Sonic Racing Transformed. That's why the weapons and all that were so good in the...
Yeah. And it is, I'd say, like, if you can't find a copy of Blur,
Sonic Racing Transformed, it's a good second.
It is great, but I would say you could probably get Blur
You can
dirt
get
cheap most places, 'cause I'm sure I think I've bought various copies for gifts over the years.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, if you see it, buy it. Even if you're not that into racing games, I think it's one of those games that can really convert you.
Aye, definitely.
Definitely. So that's Blur, which we're putting into the Essensual List.
Essential List.
I'm really glad I mispronounced that. 'Cause that's quite
Essential.
good. It sounds like Roger Moore. So, and Joe, you're going to introduce a game as well?
Yeah, so, obviously we're staying away from the obvious classics, the Marios and the Zeldas and the Metal Gear Solids and
You
all
just
that.
love saying Zelda.
I know, Zeldas. Right, so the game that I want to put in the Essential List, and it was kind of forgotten about when it first got released, but then there's a kind of resurgence of interest, right? Valkyria Chronicles for the PlayStation 3.
Oh.
It's not perfect by any means, Valkyria Chronicles, but it's one of my favourite strategy games.
Difficult title to say quickly.
Val Kilmer Chronicles.
Val Kilmer Chronicles.
You're an actor.
Why am I so fat?
You get fat. Yeah. All the other people who have played Batman get ashamed of you. Like,
Adam West doesn't call anymore.
yeah. No, Valkyria Chronicles is, for those that aren't aware, it's a strategy game for the PlayStation 3, and it's a hybrid between being a real-time sort of action game, but also a turn-based strategy game, because you've got an overhead map of the lay of the land with your various units. You've got your scouts, you've got snipers, you've got heavy machine gun, you've got tanks, obviously. So you use overhead view to see where they are, see where the enemy is, if you can see them, and then you choose one of your units, and it goes right down into a third-person shooter view, and you have to run about in real time and dodge crossfire, and get into cover and use your turn and do a shoot. Either shoot something or disable some sandbags or mines or something. It's really, really clever, and there's a lot of systems behind it that make it, I don't know, that every level's really, really interesting, and it's got a great story to it as well, and a great art style. I was going to say,
one of the big things with Valkyria Chronicles is that it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous animation.
Yeah, it looks like
as well.
It looks like, you know how when you see a cell shaded game and you can tell they've just done it lazily, you're like, oh, they've just put a cell shaded filter on it just to kind of make it look distinctive, but it's rubbish. Whereas there are a few games that really use cell shading really, really well, like Jet Set Radio, Wind Waker, Okami. Well, Valkyria Chronicles is part of that because it uses it to have this sort of watercolour effect.
Yeah.
You know, the edges of the screen are sort of vignetted in this little, desaturated, and the characters all look really animated and brought to life, and it really makes, I don't know, it adds to the experience and makes it just feel a bit more special. And it's got the great thing, the team behind it were responsible for Skies of Arcadia, and you can see that in it because all the big super tanks in the game all look like the big flying ships from Valkyria Chronicles and things. I know, it's great, and it's got that sort of Japanese thing where it's sort of an alternate universe retelling of a real world event, World War II, and it touches on some sort of, I don't know, pretty heavy subjects, but it managed to...
Well, it's got a kind of undercurrent theme about racism and things like that. What I was going to say as well, the visual style very much fits into its setting, so it does have that kind of European style art, which is the kind of watercolours, and that's one of the things that attracted me to it.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've completed it a few years ago, and it's been a while since I've played it properly. I sit down with it now and again, but it is one of those games that you really need to take some time to play, because I think there's 20 levels in it in the campaign, but each one takes a few hours because they're very intricate. There's a lot of stuff you've got to do. Even just moving forward in the game, it takes a lot of work to not just get your guys killed. And we were talking about Fire Emblem earlier, and you get the permanent death. If somebody dies, you don't get them back. That's what happens in Valkyria Chronicles, and I managed to keep...
Because I think if they're injured, if you can get to them,
they're okay.
You can save them, but if you don't, that's them gone.
Yeah, and I managed to save everybody apart from one of my soldiers, and at the end of the game it just says, oh, she died. Because you've got a book that kind of keeps as the game continues, the book fills up with what your characters have been up to and what their story is. One of them was a wee bit shorter than the rest of them because she died. So Valkyria Chronicles is definitely, it's a game that it used to be really, really valuable. Like it was hard to find. It was really it was worth a lot of money, but I think they reissued it and now it's actually quite cheap. You can get it for less than 20 quid most places.
I think it was, because I remember again from working in the video game shop, it was one of those games you could buy it for about 20 quid, but you could sell it back online for about 40 because it was such a limited print run. But I think the enthusiasm for the game really got more and more copies going.
But obviously not enough people bought it or its sequel, because Valkyria Chronicles 3 has been out in Japan for like 3 years now and we've still not seen it here, which is a shame. I think Valkyria Chronicles 2 just wasn't as good as the first one. The first one had a real forward momentum to it. There was 20 distinct levels, whereas Valkyria Chronicles 2, you were redoing the same levels over and over again, it got kind of boring.
It's not just that as well, releasing a PSP game in the West isn't a guarantee for big sales. It's a shame, because the PSP and also the Vita, I suppose, are great handheld consoles. The problem is they do much better in Japan than they do anywhere else. So releasing a game on that and hoping it'll have enough sales to justify a third one doesn't work, which is a shame. But
Valkyria Chronicles, unlike Blur, which is a game you buy because you want to get your pals round, Valkyria Chronicles is the kind of game you buy when you know you've got some time by yourself to play. If you like JRPGs, or if you like turn-based strategy games, or even if you like third-person shooters and want something a wee bit different, I would say if you can find a copy, give it a shot, because honestly it's one of my favourite PlayStation 3 games, and it goes on the Essential List.
The Essensual List. Tomorrow is Joseph's birthday.
Hey!
Fucking sad act. Fucking cheering his own birthday. Woo!
There's nobody else here.
Did you buy your own birthday cake this year?
No, I didn't actually get a birthday cake.
Because it's not your birthday's tomorrow though.
Yeah, but the party...
You don't eat your birthday cake in advance.
But the party's passed.
You fucking do though. Aye, the party's passed.
You do though, don't you, Joe? Oh, you're a big fatty.
Oh, you fucking pie. So, Joe's birthday tomorrow, which is the 12th of May.
Yep.
So I'm just saying that so that when people listen to it, they'll be like, oh shit, that was last week. I didn't send him a card.
And we thought we would ask you for your best and worst video game presents.
A lot of them are quite funny, because a lot of them are like, oh, I got an amazing present, and then something bad happened. This is one there's a few that I really enjoyed here. Chris McCluskey, he got the Rugrats game for the PlayStation 1 in 1998. The same year that Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Gran Turismo, Tekken 3 and Tenshu came out. Imagine that.
Oh, God.
The thing is, the Rugrats game was a game with Rugrats in it, so I mean, you can't complain.
Here we go. Andy McCrimmon, best, worst are the same. Got a Bomberman, played all night at a magical birthday sleepover. A magical birthday sleepover?
I think he got his hole.
Next day, inverted commas, pal stole it, never seen it again.
Ah, that's awful.
Yeah.
One here from Graham White, I really like this one. Best present I got was the SNES with Super Mario World when I was 6. I got that as well. I don't know if I was 6 though, but I certainly got it. Worst present was Happy Feet for the Wii when he was 20.
What?
That would mean by the time...
Why would they buy that for a 20-year-old?
But I think that means though, by the time Graham's 30, he'll probably be getting... What's the worst game? Some awful, tragic game.
Richie Morgan from GameWank. My girlfriend bought me Sonic and the Black Knight as a gift. She took it back after watching me trying to enjoy it. Have you ever been there having to pretend that you like something because...
yes, a lot.
God.
A lot.
Yeah.
Here we go. Got Monkey Island for my Atari ST when I was a youngin'. It didn't work past disc 1. Too shy to say so. The best and worst. That was from Tengushi on Twitter. That's gotten as well. When you get something and you love it, but it doesn't quite work.
Okay, Gavin Aitken. Best, either my Game Boy or PS2. Didn't expect it at all that year. Worst, the games that came with the PS2. Red Faction. The thing is, I've been in a similar situation because for Christmas one year I got a PlayStation 2, but the only game I got for it that Christmas, and the only game I could play until I
Yeah.
got to the shop the next day was Dave Mira BMX.
Dave Mira BMX, the classic. The Tony Hawk's beta.
That was Dave Mira BMX 2.
Oh, the sequel.
The sequel, aye.
Even better.
Yeah.
I remember when I got my PS2 as well. That was so good. Though my parents didn't know that I needed it. It was for my birthday. Can't remember what age I was.
No memory card.
No memory card. And I had a copy of GTA 3, no memory card. And I don't know why. I don't know what, if I got birthday money, if I just didn't, like from other people, I just didn't spend it on anything useful. Because I remember having to wait to save up for the memory card. So by the time I got the memory card, I completed the first island in GTA 3 in what must have been like record time, because I played it so many times
Yeah.
that when I finally got it, it was like an hour. I speed run it. It was like,
I was the same when I got my Dreamcast. I didn't have a memory card for it, so I played through Sonic Adventure like
fuck.
from start to finish like 10 times.
Sounds like a punishment mode. Let's have a look. Pablo Clark on Twitter. My Spanish cousin gave me second-hand Game Boy on my 11th birthday, and that Christmas he got Link's Awakening. Oh, such a game.
Aye.
Such a game.
Such a game.
Such games. Here's one here. This is, I mean, I'd like to be this guy's brother. Rich Woodward on Twitter. Last year I got my brother F-Zero X, Micro Machines, Mario Tennis, Pilot Wings, and then 64, and the Okami art book.
Bloody hell.
Do you think, I mean, am I too old to be adopted into someone else's family? Because that's pretty good. Oh, this is a bit... Adam Plays Games got 3 different copies of the Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Is that not a good thing though? Like,
Well, 1 copy's quite good.
yeah, 3 copies is...
3 copies, bit much. Bit much. Because you only get 2 hands.
It's not that you get more games.
Two more games.
like,
Multiplier.
Yeah, I've got 3 collections, so you know that means 120 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
How many copies of Alex the Kid is that?
Oh god.
I love calling it Alex the Kid.
Because you know it enrages me so
It
much.
enrages you.
Aye.
You get an angry erection. Just beat it off the table.
So thanks for getting in touch with your best and worst video game presents. So what's your
My best?
or worst?
I mean, probably getting the PS2 was amazing. But
Yeah.
I think when it came to the whole like pleading and the whole like debate, you know, when you're younger and you try and figure out like, oh, if I get this and this is better. Like I remember finding a PlayStation 1 deal. I think it was something like Dixon's or Curry's. There was one of them had a tiny wee shop on Kilmarnock High Street. I think it must have been Dixon's.
Yeah.
And they had a deal where, and it was probably something fucking, if I saw it now, but that's ridiculous. But you got the PlayStation 1, a controller, obviously, a memory card, and 4 games. So I'm sure I went for Tekken 3, Tomb Raider 1, a mystery game. I can't remember what
Game, like
the game. It might have
Crystal
been.
Maze.
It wasn't Discworld 2, but in my memory, that's
you had Discworld?
I did, but I don't know if I got it at that time. But I've got a feeling I might have been. And Ninja. It was called Ninja Shadow.
Shadow Assassin or something like that.
Something like that. Actually, no,
it was-
Ninja Shadow of Darkness.
Ninja Shadow of
where you go
Darkness.
like a ninja dressed in bright purple clothes, and it was
it's so
total
bad.
shite.
Yeah.
Even had a lava level in it. But I did.
Yeah.
Like I remember at the time, just that was probably the beginning of me properly getting into games. But probably the worst video game thing was probably when I begged and pleaded and begged for a copy of Wu-Tang Clan Taste the Pain on the PlayStation 1. I was like, I wasn't even fucking into the Wu-Tang Clan. I was only like, what, 12? And just like, I had to have it. And my dad was like, right, I've spoken to your mum, I've convinced her. I got it, and it was bullshit. And I still maintained for a wee while, but no, it was fucking awful. And I still have a copy, not the original, because I got rid of that. But I did buy it again, just to have it. But it is genuinely awful. How about you? What's your best and worst?
Well, the one that comes to mind is actually, it's kind of both the same, because it was the year that Perfect Dark came out, and I was desperate for Perfect Dark, because Craig down the road from me, he had it, and we loved playing it. It was even better than GoldenEye, I thought, right? And I was desperate for this game, and I was like, Mum, I know it's an 18, but can I please...
18?
I know it was an 18.
Fuck.
Can I please have Perfect Dark for my Christmas? And she was like, no, it's an 18, you're not getting it. And I was like, no, but... It's not real. It shouldn't really be an 18. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It shouldn't really be an 18.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm not getting it, son. So it was shaping up to be a really disappointing Christmas, because the one thing I wanted more than anything, I wasn't allowed to have until eventually my mum sat me down and said, right, look, son, you're not getting this game. In fact, that was my dad. You're not getting this game, right, son? So honestly, you need to have something else. We're not getting you Perfect Dark for your birthday.
Yeah,
that's for your Christmas. So that's when I was like, well, I suppose I suppose you could get me a Dreamcast instead. So
Wow.
I know, I felt like such a dick, but it did turn into the best Christmas because I got a Dreamcast. So
Got a Dreamcast.
So what I thought was going to be the worst became the best because I got the Dreamcast.
How many months before the end of the Dreamcast did you get your Dreamcast?
It was like a month later.
A month later. Sega's like, sorry about that. Did you not say something like your dad said, are you back to loser, son?
You're back to loser, son. Yeah. Oh god, the whole thing with the Dreamcast, it was that Christmas. It sold amazingly well, and then in January, Sega said, "Oh wait, that's it. We're cutting it. We're cutting the cord. We're not doing it anymore." And then, but even though the Dreamcast was discontinued that year, it was the best year for the Dreamcast because you had Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online came out after they discontinued the Dreamcast.
Really?
Or after they announced the discontinuation of the Dreamcast.
When did Shenmue come out?
Shenmue came out just before, but Shenmue 2 came out the year that it got discontinued. Yeah.
That seems mad.
I know,
doesn't
it's
it?
mental.
Just because a lot of companies now say, right, that's us finishing this.
Yeah.
It's usually the dregs that are still, well, not always, but usually you find when a new generation begins, the last games before it are usually quite good. Like, for example, like near the end of the PS2, you had like Okami and Shadow of the Colossus, like a lot of brilliant games that looked great, and then the PlayStation 3 came out. But then, if you were saying like, but what about the last actual PS2 games? There were just loads of there's FIFA games constantly year on year. That's good though. I like how you went to the well for a wee drink and you couldn't get a drink, so you just dived into the well, soaked yourself in it.
Anyway, so that's the end of another BitSocket podcast.
It is indeed.
Thanks for listening. Maybe someday soon I'll have enough free time so I can actually make some videos again.
Yeah, that one we shot last week, which we were really proud of, which still hasn't been edited.
I've been too busy.
And you've sold the camera.
I know. I've actually sold the camera.
Sold the camera.
Yeah, we've got a new camera on its way, so...
Fantastic. So, and we won't make videos with it, but just so you know, we have the potential to do it. So, remember to subscribe and review the podcast as well. Any wee comments or feedback is greatly appreciated because we like to know what if there's things that we're doing that you think are amazing, which must be the whole.
Also,
it's
it's Scott that does the podcast, and he's it's equivalent of a dog driving a car. So, so any pointers would be.
Any pointers?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Runaway Train.
Yep. Get involved on Twitter and Facebook as well, just at BitSocket. And maybe on YouTube we'll have a new video soon. Maybe
one day. I mean, there'll be one in the next year or so. Definitely, we can say that for sure.
For sure.
Keep BitSocking.
Keep BitSocking.